Good morning, you beautiful chickens. So our brooder system is still working this time of the year. I think the next batch, which is coming on the 16th, I think, we'll probably have to do lights and maybe have them in town for a while, try a way to heat them. But these chicks survived. We woke up in the middle of the night, came and sorted them out, just spread them out so they don't bunch together too much. And they ran around, made some light, they drank water, and then we left. And then this morning very early, while it was still dark, the children came to separate them, and they said they were lying in 6 little bunches. And so not one died. There's one that hasn't been feeling grand since they've arrived. Hopefully he recovers. Very often when you get your box, there's 2 or 3 chicks that's died, and sometimes like many. I've seen on YouTube, I've seen people with boxes arriving where all the chickens are dead. And so we've been very lucky now with the last 2 batches. We haven't lost 1 chicken yet, so that's really fantastic. One of our baby ducks disappeared about a week ago, and now Bob is chasing these 2 away from the group. He's constantly chasing them away, so I'm wondering what that's about. Wondering also if there's a way to tell which sex they are just by looking at them without doing anything strange. So that's my ponderings for today. I'll have to Google it a little bit. So it's raining. How cool is that? It's 11 o'clock at night. We'll have to run quickly and shake the chickens so they don't bundle too much and kill each other. So last night I came back after dark and I had some horse food on the back of the bakkie. Went into the house, got busy and completely forgot about the food. And so it rained last night and I still forgot about the food. So this bag is completely ruined. All wet. And all of this is completely ruined. All wet. So you really don't want to give food that's old and wet to horses. That's not ideal. So the pigs and the ducks will be eating like kings for the next couple of days. Loading pig food from Spar. We get those big bins full, and then from the restaurants we get these drums filled with pig food as well. So this morning is the big day, soap course. So this is plenty of different ingredients and some more things there. I am very excited. There's some examples of different blocks of tallow, like 70-year-old soap, seaweed mixes, spices, all sorts of ingredients and goodies and stuff that you can use. So it goes on. Exciting stuff. We've got about 17 people coming for the course, so I think that's going to be quite cool. Really looking forward to it. The sun is right in my eyes today.
We are rendering and then render again and with water and salt and put it out.
And this is our parking lot at the moment. How cool is this? So many people to come and learn about permaculture and permaculture related stuff.
For more nitrogen, which is not available here, and because the mycorrhizal fungi is connected to each other, it then transports some of the nitrogen outside of the root zone from that area to this area. So woody material has the tendency to then harbor mycorrhizal fungi.
So would you...
Manure has a tendency of having higher bacteria, but you need both of them.
So would you at all try to limit the amount of termites that we have, say for instance for mint or plants, chasing them away?
Obviously you will have situations where termites then starts to
eat your living plants.
Eat some of the plants which you don't want. But now the reason for the termites being there is because you are creating an ideal situation for them here.
Yeah.
That's why the termites are here, and as long as they have food they won't bother you. But sometimes you have instances where the termites then start to...
Yeah, they finish the mulch and then they go for your living plants.
Yeah, But you are creating a food source for them. That is why
Yeah.
the termites are here.
Okay.
But by applying sufficient amount of
Mulch.
mulch onto the soil, you will keep the termites focused on that. Why? This material inside this plant consists of cellulose, hemicellulose and lignin, which is still too hard for the enzyme. This is now starting to break down. So it's easier for the termite to feed on this because it's more palatable for them.
So once you have enough of that,
Yes,
this is not really what they want. They will just go for that if that's
exactly.
not
Yeah. And when the termites then starts to digest this woody material, it takes it into the soil. And now the termite is creating an ideal environment into your root system. Yeah.
And also one thing I've noticed about termites, when they go underground, they create small pockets that allows the roots to
Exactly.
get oxygen. Yeah, but the more they are, they tend to destroy, as you just explained. But they are quite also good for like a growing bed like this, because it allows for the roots to capture more oxygen, because sometimes the soil might be too compact. And once they tunnel through, it allows for more oxygen to be absorbed by the roots.
It's the same when you then make compost from manure. When you have that ammonia smell from your compost, that's actually a sign that you don't have enough oxygen in your compost. And what is the smell? That's the bacteria dying off. And the smell then is from the dead bacteria emitting this gas. So oxygen is very important in the root system, in your compost, because bacteria works at its best with sufficient supply of oxygen.
Right. I want to show you that compost that I showed you a couple of months ago. I want to show you what happened there. I think maybe we should get that bug off there. Okay, let me show you that quickly.
Stick to one, because a marigold deters aphids, for instance, and allium will deter another pest. So don't focus only on one. Try to diverse.
So on commercial, let's see if you're doing it also on a larger commercial scale, would you advise for one to also just do that intercrop?
I would select crops which also has a value. So when you then harvest your Swiss chard, you can also harvest some of the flowers which you then can sell to a shop. You can also harvest your basil. So choose something which has a value.
Yes, like you harvest more than 3 crops from one bed.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have the Swiss charts.
This flower, what I'm saying here, is it part of the...
It's called the John Deere. It's a weed.
Oh, it's a weed.
Yeah.
John Deere.
You can make a tea from it to cure flus and so on. But this time of the year, and the specific way that we had rain now, it comes up. It's all over the farm. You can see there in the whole field. We call it a John Deere because it's yellow and green. It's got obviously a very different name. Let me show you that compost there quickly.
Your bacteria is actually dying off, and that is the foul smell which you then use. So we want our bacteria to do their work as efficiently as possible. So that is why we need to turn our compost pile at least once a week. Then, also keep in mind, if you do this test and you have less than 2 drops of water from your fist, the process will take longer. Then you need to add some moisture.
So also, so a good compile for Costa doesn't the smell, it's a foul smell, and it means that it's something that's not really...
It's bad for you.
That's your bacteria dying off. That foul smell. Obviously you will have a bit of a smell, but that pungent foul smell.
Don't have that. You don't have a foul smell.
But obviously this goes through a mineralization graft which does this. So here you started your compost pile, and within a few days the temperature spikes. And then this is where mineralization takes place. After the conversion is completed, the temperature will obviously go down. Yeah.
So what I have done for my small garden, we dig a big hole. So whenever when my wife is like peeling onions,
Yes.
and all those stuff, we just put them there. And then they have these worms, they come up, and then after that, just like compost. You just put a little bit of compost with it.
Exactly.
And then you don't throw anything like.
Try to compost valuable, so that is why you need to combine these two after they are finished. Now, because we need diversity in our plants and in the soil. We don't want to keep feeding our plants only with a certain manure. Then you will have deficiencies in your plants.
So I know that you probably not focus on Shwarogo's water is more calc,
Yes.
and my water, which is from the borehole, is a 7.5 pH.
Yes.
And we've been trying to find out that what the effects of that 7.5 pH and water.
That's something we need to put more emphasis on, because we need a acidic environment in our soil. Just like humans and animals, without the proper pH in our digestive system, we will not be able to break down the food that we eat. So that's almost the same as for a plant. I can give an example. The nightshades, in other words, the tomatoes growing there, the ideal pH in the soil for a tomato is anything from 5.8 to 6.5. So we need a bit of a slight acidic environment for this to break down. Water, especially water in Otjiwarongo, tends to be more alkaline. But now, the biomass or the material which you then work into your soil will determine the pH of your soil. But keep in mind, soil is self-regulating. So if you then apply compost or whatever, you will see there's a slight adjustment in your pH, and then without adding more, the soil will regulate itself. It will go back to the alkaline environment, and that is what you don't want. You want to prevent that. So that is why the water also as a contributing factor to the pH in the soil. That is why we need to amend our soil accordingly with different types of material to then create this ideal pH. And the pH also has a direct influence on how fast your plant does translocation. So if you move into a more alkaline environment, your plant will be smaller, and your harvest will be smaller, and it has a direct influence from the roots up until the top side of your plant. So it's very important. pH is very important, very, very important. Blueberries needs a very acidic environment. There are even there are exceptions on the rule, but those exceptions are very few regarding the alkaline environment for some root systems. But the highly cultivated crops that we want to plant, they are dependent on an acidic environment.
After leaving my brew for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, taking some of the bushes out, and now we're gonna start harvesting it. Even though this fertilizer is free, it's quite a lot of hard work preparing it and putting it all over the garden, getting 2 liters from there, putting it in a drum, and then moving the drum to the farm. We need one more there, one more tea. Wait, Vitalis, one more tea in there. Bring it here so I can just stir it a little bit. Bring it here, just like that. Okay. And so we've been busy for about 30 minutes now, I would say. For 4 people, 30 minutes. That's too long to do every day, so we have to find a way to distribute a nice fertilizer tea into the garden easier every day. So last night we also received a new baby, and she is a female, so we are very, very happy about that. So those 2 courses yesterday, Brenda's soap course that drew 17 people, teaching them how to use tallow, etc. Soap, how to use seaweed, and then the farm tour that only about 5 people could attend. We included it in the Napier grass section. I think we should have asked the other people to stop and stay for the farm tour. I think they would have done that as well. This is a 40 kilogram bag of seaweed that I received. It's very expensive, but I received it as a gift from Brenda. And our lawnmowers are hard at work. Trent C, Sue B, and Jane S. I really wanted to thank you for your support this week. This is a bit of a longer video. One of the things that I'm sad about is that I didn't do a better video of the tour with Emo. He gave lots of great advice, and I got so involved in the chatting that I forgot to turn on my camera. But it was incredible to have him on the farm again. Brenda is always just a light in the darkness whenever she arrives. Her English, she's speaking a Namglish. It's a very strange English that she speaks, even worse than mine. But it's such a fun having somebody so loving here. Wilma Gavasep, the lady that I met, that I showed you at the farmers market a couple of months ago, she was finally at my farm. That was fantastic. So many nice people that came. And so that's going to be the end of my story. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day.